So Elon Musk is crashing out again because he got fined by the European Union for 120 million euros. And that amount is about 140 million USD, so quite a bit of money. The reason the EU gave him a fine is because of X.com. Like, the first reason they were fined is because of the deceptive system of the blue check marks on Twitter, and it is a deceptive system. If you're not in the loop somehow, Twitter used to have these blue check marks for verified people. Before Elon Musk bought Twitter, if you had one of these check marks, this check mark was like a huge deal. It meant you were actually a real person, like a real public figure. It was really hard to get these check marks. The only people that could get them were like journalists, and if you were a YouTuber, it was also really hard to get them if you didn't have a Twitter contact. The only way to get these was to submit like legacy media articles about yourself and be like, look, I'm a real person. If you were a YouTuber with 10 million followers but didn't have a New York Times article or a insider at Twitter, you couldn't get one of these check marks. They were really, really hard to get. And then when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he let people buy them for $8 a month. And obviously, the first thing that happened was everyone made parody accounts acting like companies or people. Like, there was a case where someone acted like a drug company and said they were capping insulin prices and their stock fell. Because obviously a lot of people thought that was the real account, because what other reason would a check mark exist for? And definitely nowadays there's less people falling for fake accounts on X.com, but it is definitely still a problem. So when it comes to the blue check marks being deceptive, they most definitely are, and if you disagree, I don't know what planet you're living on. And the second thing they were fined for was a lack of transparency on advertising, and the third thing they were fined for was a failure to give public researchers access to their data. Now, I'm assuming for both of those things, they're not handing over data because it's probably really suspect. Like, even with Twitter trying to hide as much data as possible, we clearly see this algorithm is being manipulated to promote right-wing talking points. But when I first saw this story pop up of Elon Musk being fined by the EU for not following any of these rules, I was not surprised at all. Like, these are obvious problems with the website, and I am not surprised the EU stepped in to give him a fine because they generally have more robust protections with this kind of stuff. So I initially wasn't going to actually talk about this because it seemed like a total nothing burger of Elon Musk being fined by the EU for things that we all saw him doing. But this story kind of takes a weird turn. On December 6th, X.com bans the EU from advertising, and they claim the EU accessed a dormant account just to exploit a bug in the advertising system to make a link look like a video so people are more likely to click it. I'm not 100% sure what bug they're referring to, but I don't believe them that they did this because in the replies, they also said no one has exploited this for years. The EU is the first person to do it in years, which is obviously a lie. Like, you're telling me the EU logged onto their ad account after years of not using it just to use an exploit that no one knows about or no one's used for years. Are you serious? This is obviously a lie. And also keep in mind, the EU fined X.com on December 4th. So Twitter is telling us that 2 days after they got fined by the EU suddenly was abusing the advertising system. Really? I just don't believe this for a second. And even if the EU did do this whole like exploit with the video and the link thing, there is no way that the only people that did this within the last couple years. There's literally no chance. And to add insult to injury to Elon Musk, the second the EU made this fine, he started comparing them to Nazi Germany. Even though this is him, this is the guy that's accusing other people of being the Third Reich. He also said this about himself because, you know, of course he did. Now, since X.com clearly does not want to pay this fine because they're being big babies about it, what is the penalty if they don't pay? Well, they have a total of 60 days to give the EU a plan as to how they're going to make blue check marks less deceptive. And within 90 days, they have to submit a plan on how they're going to fix all this stuff, including ad transparency and all that. And if they miss these deadlines, the EU can fine them 5% of their total daily turnover a day. So whatever revenue they make in a day, they can basically fine them 5% of that daily. And honestly, I think this should probably be higher if you want compliance from companies like this, because a well-run company could just tank this, but Twitter can't do that. Because here's the thing with Twitter. Twitter makes no money. Like, they are losing money by existing. So this is kind of a big deal for Twitter because they have debts to pay, and this does not help with that. And if Elon Musk decides to not pay this at all, the EU can just shut down Twitter in the EU. So he's probably going to want to get this sorted, because if not, the EU will shut down Twitter. And at the end of the day, I don't know what he's going to end up doing. I think it's likely he'll end up just paying the fine and complying, but at the same time, he could just try his luck. But we'll see what happens, I guess. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Click the notification for more of my content, and have a good one.